Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video. My name is Asha. This video is called As a Woman Heals, a Man's Ego Can Project Onto Her. How do we stop this, or how do we handle this as women who are growing? Okay, so I want to talk about two ways that this can play out for you and two ways that you can work on this. Okay, first of all, it doesn't feel good. It feels very manipulatory. It's confusing. I always say the shadow of the magi or the charismatic person is the ego, is a manipulator. All right. So if you do not know my story, I started off on this little land called Earth as a avoidant person. I was really highly manipulatory and a high achiever, and I had like all these sort of shadow aspects. So I can really relate to both sides of the coin on this. And I've also been sort of, if you will, like victim to the ego many, many times because I continuously choose to go inward in my journey and heal my own heart and heal my own space. This is where the truth is always revealed. So what this might look like is you're expanding as a woman and you're starting to get more power and you're starting to feel more confident, and the man you're with starts yelling at you or projecting onto you or telling you that he doesn't think it's a good idea for you to move forward, so on and so forth. The reason this happens is because, number one, the reason this happens is because tyranny is huge. Okay, it's been sort of the way that we've done business forever. We don't have a lot of understanding of the feminine heart-led business. It's just not really that common. And therefore, when the masculine experiences a woman's heart, it was something in my hair, sorry. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. Hold on, it's just getting it out. Okay. When the masculine experiences the heart healing, it can be really, really scary for him. And the reason this is because his frame is being tested, his masculinity is being tested, and you're expanding in your heart. It's going to cause a situation where he's going to feel disrespected, even though you're not really disrespecting him. His ego is bruised. So that's number one, the tyranny thing. The second reason this plays out is because love is deeply difficult to receive. It is deeply difficult for a person to receive love. It's like one of the hardest things for the masculine to really receive, and that includes, women who have masculine energy as well. They like can't seem to receive love. They're not like, they keep building things or doing things to avoid the love from coming in. It's been awful. Or they hang on to a man that like is clearly saying no or clearly not wanting to be on that path. They hang on to it, and there's like control pieces there. Okay. And I speak from so much experience here. I attracted a man about 22 years ago or 20 something years ago, and he held on to my soul for 18 years. When he came back into my life, I had never seen such a powerful man before. His power was insane. I like instantly went into feminine remembrance, and I instantly went into submission into this man. And I truly thought that there was no one more powerful than him. I really thought that. That was like 16 men ago. I've had so many men come into my life and activate me. I almost like, oh my God, I can't believe how much power I thought that man had over me. I can't believe how much power I thought that man had over me. And I'll let you know right now, that's what consistently happens for me. And the reason this is because I focus on my energy, I focus on my devotion, and I focus on my core wounds to clear the pain that tells me that a man has power over me. All right. That is big. The tyranny program is huge. There are wolves in sheep clothing out there. And it's something that this is why I'm so passionate about my work, is because I've seen men do this, men in power positions throw me away, and slam the door on my face after promising me. One promised me $5 million and then it lied to me. And then another one, he wasn't a liar, actually. He has really high levels of integrity. And he basically, told me he would never support me. I was so petrified of moving on because I was so afraid of this man. And so, because I was like, oh my God, he's so powerful. He's so powerful. And the reality is he threw me away because he was afraid. He was afraid of my power. And I created that in my life to see how these dynamics work. And this is why I'm dedicated to emotional intelligence, because it is not just empathy as a woman. It's keeping your heart open. It's understanding a lot of it has to do with our control and our expectations. And then it also has to do with putting up with no bullshit like that. Okay. You got to combine the three of those things. All right. You don't put up with that bullshit. And then you also see that that person is where they are. And you also know that if you're hurt by it, you have work to do. You have detachment work to do. And so when we're able to combine all three of those knowingnesses in those three areas, we will take down tyranny. We will take it down as a group. Yeah, but it has to start with the feminine. So when a man does that, let's go ahead and use an example. You may have met a man on Tinder, or you've met a man, like, let's say somewhere like at work, but you don't think he's that powerful. So he tries to ghost you, or he tries to like pull some shenanigans. You don't even notice. The only time you notice is when you've opened up to a man and you feel like he has more power than you. And then when he ditches you, you collapse because you've put your power into him. And so sadly, because men have been so targeted, the ego is like vicious and it can be really, really relentless. But at the same time, the only place for you to go is inside. The only place for you to go is inside yourself to clear your wounds that say that man has to do a certain thing, that man needs to be a certain way, and that man needs to grow a certain way. So it's not coddling a man's ego, but it is understanding that the masculine is deeply, deeply targeted to hate love. So in order for us to hold that knowing in that men are targeted to hate love, is to remain sovereign and to remain consistent in your own emotional regulation. Now, this can be very, very difficult, especially if they're not available for conversation, if they're not available for healing, if they're not available for anything because they don't seem to believe you're worth it. It can be really difficult, especially if you've built a relationship with them. But at the same time, you have to heal your heart. You have to. Otherwise, you'll get stuck and you'll get bitter and you won't get what God wants to give you, because God does want to give you what you're here for. Okay. It's just a matter of your energy. It's a matter of letting go. It's a matter of releasing, and it's a matter of coming into your own sovereignty, into your own power. All right. And so you got to know that, like, there's also another thing too here. When you do choose yourself, and you start healing and you start like releasing that person out of your life, you actually get more valuable. You get way more respect from people around you. You become way more valuable. You become extremely magnetic in this place. All right. You deepen into you deepen into why you're here and your soul alignment. And that's when things start to come forward for you. Okay. It's big, big work, big work. But I tell you right now, the masculine ego cannot survive in pure love. They have to resonate away. They have to. They can't be around it. And if they can't be around it, and we have billions of women in pure, pure love and pure, pure truth, and also the ability to like stay detached, the whole world is going to shift. The whole world is going to shift. All right. This is where real leadership happens. Real leadership comes from heart. All right. So allow yourself the knowing that you are safe in ego. You are safe most of the time, unless you're in like a really dangerous situation. You're safe in this man's projections, and choose yourself. Choose yourself. All right. Don't allow yourself to get manipulated. All right. If a man is not clear in his intentions, my advice at this stage is just to back off. All right. Back off. It's attachy. It's a recipe for disaster. Just need to back off. Okay. So let yourself know. I mean, and look, it's so easy to say when you're out of it, when you're in it. It's one of the most difficult things to see when you're codependent in these dynamics. But I'm telling you right now, the stronger you are in your sovereignty, the more that's going to be reflected to you in the man that God assigns to you. Okay. Trust that he's already made him. Okay. Love you. Bye.